I do not understand the point of owning a home. Not only do you have to pay an outrageous amount of money for a down payment on the house, but everything that breaks is then your responsibility to fix it. I don't have to bring my trash cans to the end of the street on trash night. All of my neighbors are super close, so I could just walk from apartment to apartment and meet friends easier. Anything that comes up, literally anything, I walk across the street to my leasing office, bang on their door and say, hey, I need this fixed. Now, I don't have to pay anybody for it. You're telling me if I have a house, I have to call somebody in special to come and fix something, and then I have to pay them extra money to do it? I don't really think I'm interested in that. I don't want to mow my lawn, and I don't want to shovel snow in the winter. I just don't get the point of having a home.
You really believe you're telling everybody on the internet right now that's my age or younger, VTSAX and rent?
Yes. And that's what I tell my daughter, and that's what she's doing. She's in her early 30s. She just quit her corporate job last fall. I don't know if that's permanent or if it's just a temporary hiatus, but she at least has fuck you money, the way we defined it earlier, that she can make that kind of bold decision, because she didn't make any silly decisions like buying a house and becoming house poor and being dependent on a paycheck to pay for all of those things. So yeah, building wealth is your key goal. Then no, owning a house is not going to contribute to that. If, on the other hand, you want to own a house because it'll provide a certain lifestyle that you find desirable, maybe a yard for your kids or whatever, then that's great. That's a lifestyle decision. It's not a financial decision. Don't confuse yourself.
I bought a house when I was 26 and fell immediately into poverty. Okay, when I lived with my parents, I was living my best luxury lifestyle. I went to South Korea, bought a 2,000 plane ticket, didn't even blink twice. I went shopping, luxury goods, all that. Was traveling, was just, I was living it up. I felt rich. I had no bills. And I had a full-time 9-to-5 job. I was working as a nurse. Okay, I was killing it. I bought my own house. That first mortgage payment came in and I was like, oh, this is a situation. But at first you think you can handle it, right? Like, what's a couple thou? What's a couple thou? I got it. But then the pipes in my 80-year-old home broke immediately as soon as I bought the house. Wiped out my savings. Then another pipe in a different area of the house broke. Okay, I'm struggling. Okay, I need help. Then my neighbor's pipe, it was a twin house, her pipe broke. And she didn't believe that her pipe broke, but her pipe broke on my side of the house. So all of that water that was coming down was spraying into my home. And then my water heater broke. When I tell y'all, I went from living in the lap of luxury to destitute immediately. Now, don't get me to fooling y'all, because it was worth it in the long run, because that house is now worth like 2 times what it was worth then. So I'm actually doing pretty good. But at the time, when I tell you I was struggling, I had to go to my parents every other day for dinner because your girl could not feed herself.
A house buys you a lifestyle. It buys you your independence. Once you buy a house, you're not relying on someone else to take care of your appliances. You're a big boy and a big girl, and you're now an adult, and you get to drive home, pull in your own driveway, have your own piece of land that you worked hard for. No one can take it from you as long as you're paying your payments on it. You pay your mortgage, you got a house, you got a back porch, you got tall ceilings, walk-in closets. It's your home. That's why I tell people it's an emotional purchase. When you purchase a property, look at the lifestyle it will bring you. Sit down and figure out, this is where I want to live. This is where I want to be. I want to go. It's where I want to see my life. Make the decision to just do it. Listen to just your consciousness. Make the decision for you. You know what's right for yourself.
A lot of financial gurus out there and real estate investors has this financial advice that it's better to live on rent than to actually buy your own home. And in this video, we're going to be looking at both opinions from different people to ascertain whether we have been negatively tricked financially, and also to find out which one would be the most benefiting financial decision. All right, let's start with the opposing opinions.
A lot of people think that if you can afford a house that's X number of dollars, you're good to go. What most people don't realize is the upkeep and the total cost to own is what kills you on real estate. Let's say that you can afford a $300,000 house. You need to keep in mind, you've still got to have gas, electric, water. You've got to keep up the yard. You've also got capital improvements, and you can be assured that you're probably going to spend somewhere between 1 and 5% per year on capital improvements. So if you're in a $300,000 house, you need to have between $3,000 and $15,000 a year that you're going to spend on capital improvements. HVAC, roof, plumbing. And the thing about it is if you don't calculate that in your budget, you become house poor. Nobody wants to be house poor because your house gets run down, the value of it starts to depreciate if you're not investing in your house.
Said a home is a terrible investment.
It is a terrible investment. Doesn't cash flow. You don't get big tax write-offs because of it. You have no leverage. You're living in it. You're paying for it. You never own it. Even when the loan's paid, you don't own it.
Really?
No, you still got to pay property taxes. Still got to insure it. Still got to maintain it. If you just break it down and don't become emotional, because people get emotional about their house. This is my house. It ain't your house. You're a partner in this house with the state.
Your recommendation to a normal family would be to rent?
Never buy a house. Rent where you live. Take all your money and invest in properties that cash flow. I'm not saying don't own real estate. I'm saying live in a house and pay rent. Take all the money that you would have spent on that house and invest in real estate that cash flows, that pays you every month. Could be retail, storage, apartment buildings like we invest in. Could be land. If you're a farmer or a rancher and you know how to get cows to cash flow, then do that. People are not going to buy homes in the future. They're going to rent. I've been saying this for 5 years. On Yahoo, CNBC, Fox Business. Now the media is starting to pick it up. Because this could change the economics of the entire country. That money wasn't sitting dead in homes. And there was income being produced. The tax advantages are phenomenal. The leverage is unbelievable. The amortization of people paying my debt down is phenomenal. Almost endless and exists in no other business.
I lost from last year that I'm able to write off from my income for the upcoming year.
Yeah, exactly. And you got income.
Just,
this one lady put in $4 million. She's going to get $240 this year from me. She makes $250 at her job. I said, do you understand that you're going to make more money on my $240 than on your $250? She's like, what do you mean? I said, well, you're not going to pay any taxes on my $240. You're going to pay 60% because of where she lives on your $250. And then she just loaded up. She's like, let's roll. Plus that $4 million she gave me is probably worth $12 million. The moment I do the deal, because of the leverage.
Okay, so they believe that by buying a house, you're making a financial mistake because of the maintenance cost. But think about it, the house will still remain yours forever, regardless of the maintenance cost. But then let me not just decide. Let's look at what people has to say.
The question, is it better to rent or buy a home? Like actually, because I always see those videos of those rich people saying that renting is better and they themselves rent, but I'm like 99% convinced that they are invested in real estate somehow. Like they own real estate, so they would benefit from convincing us that renting is better so that we would rent their shit. I just don't trust it. It's not as if any one of us could afford to buy regardless, but if we could, which one makes more sense financially?
I think it's correct because you think about it, instead of paying money on rent, one can channel that money to house maintenance costs. But hold on, these financial gurus are also landlords and they complain of house maintenance costs. So you're trying to tell me that they don't maintain those houses that they rented out to people? So you're trying to tell me that they rent out their own houses as landlords, then cover the maintenance cost, then pay another landlord to cover the maintenance cost for them. Does this even make any sense? You're trying to tell me that you give money on your own rental property, preferably your house, then pay another landlord to live on rent. I don't think the dots are connecting. But let's see what people has to say.
What is the best financial decision you made in the past 5 years?
I bought a new house.
Grant Cardone said buying a house is stupid. What do you say about that?
Anybody can say anything that they want. Everybody knows their self. You feel me?
So do you think it's a smart investment?
It's more than smart.
What about renting?
Renting is you wasting money.
But what about all the maintenance, all the headaches?
This is not a waste money. It's your house. And then every year it's worth more money. You're going to leave it for your son, for your family.
Okay.
Then even you spend a little money, that's nothing. Instead of like paying a rent, what you get in it? If you spend 20 years in a rent, what you get? Nothing.
The house remains yours forever, but people has contrary opinion based on flexibility of moving around.
I don't think that renting is throwing money away, and actually it's a decision that can make a lot of people wealthier than buying a home ever would. Let me explain. I truly do not understand society's obsession with the phrase renting is throwing money away and like this belief that if you're paying rent, it's such a waste of money because the money goes nowhere. But if you buy a home, it's going towards the mortgage. If that's your argument, then we technically throw money away on essential services every single month. Let's take utilities, for example. You pay every month for electricity, water, trash, gas, like whatever. You're paying all these utility bills and you're just throwing that money away. That money is just gone. So like, what a waste, right? Like, no, you're paying for a service and you understand that you're paying for a service. Those are essential services. You want your home to be heated. You want to have water in your home. And so you're okay with paying money every month in exchange for those services. Renting is the same. You are paying for a service. Like, you're renting a space to live in. And yes, we can go through the whole argument where like shelter is a basic human need and we shouldn't have to pay for it, but that's a whole nother conversation. There's also a lot of perks that you have when you're renting that you lose when you're owning, like maintenance costs. I am not responsible for replacing a dishwasher breaks, right? Like my landlord will handle that. They'll call someone, they'll hire someone, they'll pay for it. And if you own a home, you pay for everything. So that's a big one. If you live in like an apartment building, you may also have access to amenities like a gym or a pool that you wouldn't normally be able to access if you owned a home. You also have flexibility when you rent. You're not tied down. Like even if you're on a year-long lease and not like month to month, when that year ends, you could go move to Australia. There's so much freedom and flexibility, but when you own a home, it's not that easy. Now, in terms of my money being better used towards renting, this is obviously a very like nuanced and personal discussion, but for me personally, where I live, it is cheaper to rent than it is to buy. And I'm sorry, that's like just the fact. So I have way more money per month to invest renting than if I were to have a mortgage. I would have less cash flow per month, less money to put towards investment. So that's already a big thing. But not to mention the down payment. I'm pulling money out of investments that could have stayed in till retirement, earning more in the stock market than it's going to earn on a home. But instead, I'd be pulling it out to put a down payment towards this house. You got to think about all the costs. You can't just compare renting costs to mortgage costs. You have to explore all the other financial costs, and you also have to explore the emotional reasons and things like that, which is the only reason I'm even thinking about buying a home is because of the emotional reasons. Financially, I will be richer in retirement if I continue renting. That's all.
My husband and I make about $500,000 a year, and we choose to rent. I know that might sound surprising. With our income, most people expect us to buy a house. But we've run the numbers, looked at our lifestyle, and honestly, renting just makes more sense for where we are in our life right now. I know that probably goes against everything that you've been told. You'll hear people say renting is just throwing money away. But is it really, when buying a home in the same area could cost 2 to 3 times more than renting? The truth is, there's no one-size-fits-all answer. Whether you rent or buy depends on what makes the most sense for you, your finances, your lifestyle, and the kind of environment you want to live in. We choose to rent for 4 main reasons. Number 1, convenience. If something breaks, we just call maintenance. No extra bills, no stress, no weekends at Home Depot. Number 2, flexibility. We like to move every few years, explore new neighborhoods, or change things up. Renting just makes that easy. Number 3, location. We'd rather live where we actually want to live than settle for a less desirable area just to own. We're in the peninsula of the Bay Area where homes that meet our needs go for about $1.5 to $3 million. Even with a 20% down, the mortgage would be over $10,000 a month. And that just doesn't align with our priorities. And number 4, we are not DIY people. We prefer move-in ready places with no renovation headaches. At the end of the day, we rent not because we can't afford to buy, but because renting gives us the freedom, lifestyle, and financial flexibility that works best for us. And that's really the only right answer. Do what fits your life.
This is why I choose to rent instead of buying a house, even as a high-income earner. One of the reasons I choose to rent is so that I have the freedom to not be tied down to the UK because I'm not planning on living here for very long. People are always like, oh, well, if you buy a property and you rent it out, you can make £1,000, like charging more for rent. I don't care about making £1,000 from property when I can make 10 times that by investing my focus into my business. A business that I am $0 in debt for instead of if I were to buy property where I'd be owing the bank hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the final thing people say is always, well, you are overpaying on rent when you could be paying less every month if you had a house. Again, my response is the extra few £100 I am paying every month in rent is the price that I am paying for the freedom to be able to pick up and leave the country without having to worry about selling my property and the taxes and the legal stuff that is on top of that. I'm not saying I hate houses and I think it's dumb if you choose to be a landlord. I'm just encouraging you to think outside the box when it comes to traditional investments.
To me, I think even if you want to move in around, owning a home to your name that you can always come back to is not a bad idea.
What is something you're proud of that most people would not know about you?
I was able to buy a house at 25. I'll be 28 on Monday. I just didn't want to pay $1,800 for an apartment for a 1-bedroom, and I was determined. I saved $10,000 to $12,000 in 3 months. I was eating noodles and hot dogs for 3 months. I didn't go out. I knew the reward would pay off in the end. To come home to your own space, you don't have to worry about living with parents or having a roommate or, whatever that is. It's just very rewarding. It's peaceful at home. I have it the way I like. I decorate the way I like. And now I have a house that I can have in my future forever.
And are you proud of yourself?
Yes, very proud, very proud. And if you're looking to do the same thing, just save your money and the other stuff will come. You can travel when you want to.
Don't let these people lie to you and trick you out of owning a home. Buy a house only when you're ready. Calm down. I want you to get a house. Home ownership is a key part of becoming wealthy. Don't buy a home until you're out of debt. And then when you do buy, don't buy more than a 15-year mortgage, and don't buy where the payment is more than a fourth of your take-home pay. Well, that isn't the house. I'm sorry. Buy a house you can afford. And then it'll be a blessing, and it'll be part of your wealth building plan. The problem with houses is it's such a big number that when you do it wrong, it clobbers you. When you do it right, it blesses you. There's really no middle ground. There's nobody that just goes, oh, I just squeaked by. I mean, you're going to do it right. It's going to be a big good deal, or you're going to do it wrong. It's going to be a big bad deal for you. So you've got to stay away from the housing market until you're ready.
That's so perfect. Buying a home is never a bad financial decision. In fact, it's part of building wealth. The idea is to ensure that you buy a house that you can finance. So you need to buy a house based on your level of income. Because if you go above what you can afford or what you can pay off, it will look as if you made a bad decision. Therefore, don't listen to the people coming out to tell you not to buy your own house because they want you to keep renting from them. You think about it. If you have enough money, what is there in buying a home? You like to buy your own house and furnish it to your own standard. So if you have money to buy a house without going into much debt or without going into debt, go ahead and do so. But if you look at your income level and you can't afford a house or it will put you into much debt, it's advisable that you keep renting. Thank you so much for watching today, and if you find value in this video, please give it a thumbs up and let me know what you think about renting and buying a home in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on bell notifications so that I don't miss out on my next video. That being said, I hope to see you in the next one.